Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Ruprecht, and today I'll be presenting on hydrological management of salmon, focusing on how climate change are impacting salmon populations and what reservoirs and river management practices can do to help with that. Okay, firstly, we have to identify the problem. Climate change has significantly altered river systems, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. As air temperatures rise, stream and river temperatures increase along with it, especially during summer when flows are the lowest. These warmer, low flow conditions mean that salmon are losing access to the cold water habitats that they rely on for migration and spawning. Specifically, species like Chinook, coho, and sockeye salmon are highly sensitive to temperature changes. When water warms roughly beyond 20 degrees Celsius, salmon begin to experience problems such as stress, delayed migration, and death. On top of that, thermal refuges, which are cooler pockets of water salmon use to rest and recover, are shrinking due to the reduced snowpack and degraded riparian zones. Now, to understand this problem at a physiological level, you can observe this graph by Elysian et al. 2011, which compares multiple populations of sockeye salmon and found that each had a very narrow thermal tolerance window. River temperatures exceeded around 23 degrees Celsius, most of the time resulted in mass mortality. The paper showed that populations adapted to slightly cooler spawning rivers were more vulnerable, meaning that a few degrees of warming can cause population level die-offs. Over the last 50 years, rivers across the Pacific Northwest have warmed by about 2 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing earlier snowmelt, which means less cold water input later in the summer when salmon need it the most. During heat waves, temperatures can spike quickly and reach lethal levels for salmonids, especially for adults migrating upstream. These ongoing temperature trends threaten the long-term viability of cold water salmon populations, potentially reducing not just their ecological role, but also their economic and cultural importance to the Pacific Northwest. Now, building off of that, he et al. 2017 discussed how we can use flow management to account for thermal limits. Their paper suggested incorporating temperature requirements into dam and reservoir management plans, essentially designing flow regimes that support different salmon life stages. By adjusting the timing, depth, and temperature of releases, managers can help maintain conditions that fall within salmon's thermal comfort range. Okay, now to dive into the management action. There are several effective management actions being used to combat warming rivers. First, reservoir management can release cold, deep water during critical migration periods. Second, adaptive flow regimes. This is essentially time those releases with salmon movement, giving fish the best chance to survive warm spells. Third, selective withdrawal structures, which are systems in dams and reservoirs that allow operators to draw from specific depths and let managers precisely control the temperature of water being released downstream. And finally, the restoration of riparian vegetation along riverbanks. This provides natural shade, reducing solar heating and improving overall stream resilience. Together, these strategies create cold water refuges that can help salmon persist through the extreme summer heats. And this graphic over here by Michael et al. 2023 essentially shows that with managed releases, can benefit lower downstream temperatures by about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, which is enough to keep the river below the critical thresholds for salmon survival. Their data demonstrates that timing and strategic reservoir operations can be an effective short-term tool to protect salmon populations as climate change accelerates. Now, just to wrap things up, climate change is intensifying river warming, placing enormous stress on salmon populations, while hydrological management, such as controlled dam releases and selective withdrawals, can provide a meaningful short-term mitigation. In the long run, protecting salmon will require integrated watershed restoration and riparian shading projects, and of course, climate adaptive management strategies. Maintaining and expanding cold water refuges is crucial if we want to preserve the salmon life cycle and the ecological and the cultural value these species hold for the future generations. Thank you.